So this class is going to be about frustration. What is frustration? Who wants to give me a definition? What do you understand by frustration? Go ahead, Daniel.
Well, teacher, in my opinion, I think that frustration is like emotion that low your self-esteem when you are doing like a homework and you see something hard. Are you like, oh, like sad, like you can't do it, something like that.
Mm-hmm. And how do people act when they're frustrated? How does a frustrated person act? Let me see. How many of you have ever felt frustration? Be honest. Yes. So what are some of the things that you do when you're frustrated? Like, what else? Let's see, Nicole, what do you do when you're frustrated?
Relax. I just like close my eyes and hear some music.
Okay. Who else? When you're frustrated, what do you do? Because I know a lot of people, and it's perfectly normal. When you start feeling frustrated, you get angry. Yes, Isabella, tell me.
So normally the people start making noises and start hitting the things or something like that.
What did you want to say, Daniel?
When I'm frustrated, I always do like this.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so sometimes people go, or they scream, or they break something. Yes, Luis.
Teacher, is when a person tries to do something difficult, but when he fails and becomes sad.
Okay. And a lot of people also not only get angry, but a lot of people also start crying. Any one of you start crying when you're frustrated? Because that's also normal. A lot of people start crying. And some people get really sad. Some people go out and break things. I mean, people have different ways in which they react to frustration. Okay, so frustration is not bad. It's a normal thing that you're going to feel at some point in life. The problem with frustration is what you do because you're frustrated. So if you're frustrated and you go and you kick your cat, or you slap your little brother, or you break the dishes, that's a problem. But the feeling of frustration itself is perfectly normal. And everybody at some point is going to feel this. We're going to watch a very, very short movie, like very short. And then when we finish watching the movie, I want you to tell me what are some of the things that frustrate you, okay? As a teenager, what are the things that frustrate you? Because for instance, as an adult, something that's very frustrating is terrible traffic when you have to get somewhere and you're late and there's just a lot of traffic. That's very frustrating. Or also, as an adult, what could be frustrating is that when you know you paid your bill and they still come and cut your electricity and you know you paid it. That's frustrating. So we're going to watch this short movie and then you're going to tell me what are some of the things that frustrate you. Okay. So that was a short little fun film about frustration. So my question to you before watching the film was, what are some of the things that frustrate you as a teenager? And of course, I'm going to ask every single one of you to tell me one thing that frustrates you. Of course, you also have to be very, very honest, okay? So don't tell me that you get frustrated in traffic because you're not driving. Okay, so who wants to start? Tell me one thing that frustrates you as a teenager. So Daniel, and then Alondra, and then Marcela. Let's go.
Teacher, first of all that are here in the math exams, when they see a hard equation, they are always like this or just looking the question. And that's frustrating, teacher, because you don't know what are you going to do. For example, when I see a hard equation, I cross myself and I get a disaster on my head.
Okay, so math frustrates you. When it's difficult and you can't understand it, it frustrates you. Okay, Alondra?
One of the things that stress me is when I dance and I don't get a step. It was like, no, and I doesn't come out, and it's frustrated me, and my face changed from happy and calm to for horrible frustration. I'm like, no, and my teacher, relax, breathe. I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's very frustrating, especially if you have like a big presentation and then right at that moment you make a mistake and everybody's looking at you. You're like, oh, yeah, it's very frustrating. Go ahead, Marcela.
One thing that frustrates me is when the internet is out and I have classes.
Yeah,
That frustrates me a lot. Or when the electricity is gone.
yes.
Or when it comes Friday and I don't finish the homework, I don't know what to do.
That's very frustrating. Okay, what about the rest of you? Because everybody's gonna talk. What are some things that frustrate you? Hello, Diego Lopez. Okay, so let's go with Nicole, then Daniela, and then Sean. Tell me, Nicole, what are some things that frustrate? One thing that frustrates you?
Speaking in public.
Speaking in public? Really?
It's like I get really shy, I get really red, and I cannot speak, and I just make mistakes.
So this is like when you have to present a speech or something like that?
Like a poem in Spanish, I get really frustrated, and I just.
Okay, I hated presenting poems. It's the worst. Daniela, tell me one thing that frustrates you.
Being in public.
Being in public.
Being in public. I don't like it. It frustrates me. I don't like it. I get shy. I get nervous. I don't know how to talk. I forget how to speak Spanish.
Okay. Sean?
I get frustrated when I have to read something too long. I just don't like to read.
You don't like to read?
No.
Oh, that's sad. So wait, you're in 9th grade, right? So next year you're gonna be in 10th grade and you're gonna be in my class and you're gonna have to read these books that are like this thick. Wow, Sean, you better start getting prepared for that. Okay, so let's go with Tomas Carvajal, Emily Valencia, and Denise. One thing that frustrates you. I'm coming back to you, Daniel. Go ahead, Tomas.
Going out of the house frustrates me. I don't like to go to places outside.
So was this like before the pandemic or just you've always been like this?
Always.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. I get like that sometimes, not always, but sometimes. Emily?
Being with many people frustrates me.
Has this always been like this or is this because of the pandemic?
Always.
Okay, so I have a lot of introverts in this class and that's good. I'm an extreme introvert, like extreme. Like my phone is ringing and I look at it until it stops ringing. And then if the person texts me, I might answer, but I don't answer my phone. Okay, so Denise.
When my sister touched my things.
You have a little sister? Is she smaller than you?
Yes.
Yeah, they like to touch stuff. Daniel, what did you want to say?
Another thing that frustrates me is when you are playing video games and you lose too much PvP, we can say, that frustrate yourself because you are losing.
Yeah,
That's
frustrating. Let's go with Isabella. Wait, let me finish with the people who haven't spoken yet first. Let's go to Isabella and Marcela, and then we're going to go back to the rest of you who have been hiding. I see you. Go ahead, Isabella.
Okay, so when something doesn't go as I planned, example, when I'm doing my homework or when I just cleaning my room.
That frustrates you? Yeah. I get frustrated when things don't go as I plan either. That's really horrible. Marcela, where did she go? Oh, there you are.
Another thing that frustrates me is when I'm looking at TV show and it doesn't happen what I want to happen. It frustраtes me a lot. And I yell at my mom saying, "What are you yelling? It's only a TV show. You don't need to yell."
Okay, let's go to Christian Emily Valencia. Did Emily speak already? No? Christian, yes? Because you keep moving all over my screen. Christian, AC, and Diego Lopez.
Well, teacher, I'm a patient person, but I don't like when people ignore me. It's frustrating for me because I think that no one wants to hear me, my opinion, or something like that sometimes. So I don't like when people ignore me.
Yeah, so that's frustrating. Casey?
Okay. One thing that frustrates me is that when they not let me play music.
Okay. So wait. Why does this happen? Where are you when you want to play music and they don't let you? Is it like in your bedroom?
No, my parents, they sounds music Christian.
Oh, okay. So they don't want you to play music that's not Christian music.
No.
Yeah, that's frustrating. Diego Lopez. Diego is on a trip. Diego, tell me what frustrates you. Hello? Are you there, Diego? Do like this if you heard me. I don't think he's hearing me. Or maybe he's pretending he's not hearing me. Diego! Yeah, his camera probably froze or not. Okay, so who hasn't spoken yet?
I can go, teacher.
Go ahead, tell me, Luis, what frustrates you?
When I do keyboard programming, I put everything right and it tells me that line 3 is wrong.
Yeah, that's frustrating. Okay, so who else hasn't spoken?
Is this teacher?
Okay.
I make all and C.
Yes. I see that. Aldrich, have you spoken? Tell me one thing that frustrates. Did you tell me? Yes? Good. Okay, so we're only waiting for Diego Lopez to reappear. Okay, so people, when you feel frustrated, what do you do to calm yourself down? And Nicole already told us that she just takes a breath. What about the rest of you? You're really, really frustrated at something. Before you start, breaking the dishes or slapping people or kicking your pets, what do you do so you can calm yourself down?
I breathe.
Who said that?
Me.
Alondra.
Alondra.
Okay, what do you do?
I breathe and watch TV.
You watch TV. Isabella?
I like to clean things or order things.
Clean? Really? Okay, so you're frustrated and you would go wash the dishes? Is that what you would do? Because you can
not the dishes, but like my room or something like that.
Okay. Emily?
I go to sleep.
You go to sleep. Okay, what about the rest of you? One thing that you do when you feel frustrated to calm yourself down? Casey?
I go to the kitchen and get something from there.
To eat?
Yeah.
So you eat to calm yourself down. That sounds like something Christian would do. Yes, Daniel?
I walk.
You walk. Okay, yeah, exercise is good. What about the rest of you? What do you do when you feel like you're frustrated? Diego Lopez is back. Diego, tell me one thing that frustrates you.
Noise.
What?
Noise.
Noise, okay. Okay, that's true, especially if you're trying to sleep and your neighbors are having a party. That's frustrating. Okay, so one more person. What do you do to calm yourself down after you are frustrated? So you don't go and kick the cat. What do you do? Denise? No?
I take a break and I watch TV, but if it's the afternoon, I go out and walk.
Okay. So why do you think so many people react so badly when they're frustrated? Why are there so many people, like for instance in traffic, they're like beep, 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 or yelling stuff out the window? Why are people breaking stuff or acting like that with their frustration? What do you think causes people to lose control when they're frustrated?
The patience.
Lack of patience?
Patience, teacher. The patience gets out of the people because they get sometimes like anxiety.
Anxiety. Okay.
Anxiety.
So you think that people don't have patience. Okay, what else? What else do you think it is that causes people to just lose it when they're frustrated? Do you think the weather has anything to do with that? Like it's too hot, I'm angry, let me kick somebody. Do you think that happens?
Yes.
Yes, some of you say yes, some of you say no. But think about it. You're like doing homework and it's hot and you're sweating and you don't understand the homework. Would you get frustrated if it's hot and it's itching or would you get more frustrated if it's hot or less frustrated? What do you think? You think the heat affects you?
Yes, to me, yes.
I think so. I think so. But everybody's different. Okay, what about maturity? Do you think that when people are immature, they are more likely to act violently when they're frustrated? No? Christian says no. Talk to me.
I don't think so because those people who mature, they know how to control themselves, and is there for they to control themselves when they are frustrating, to not kick somebody or something else.
So you think they just don't want to control themselves? The people who get like really angry and get out of their car and kick a driver, is that because they didn't want to control themselves or because they couldn't? What do you think?
I think because they want to, I don't know, they want to kick somebody to relax themselves.
Okay.
I think.
So when you kick somebody, you relax.
I don't know the word in English, no, but when you need to kick somebody or do something to relax yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the word in English.
Okay. Okay, so you're thinking about the word desahogar. Okay, so you need to like let loose or let go of some bad energy or just, relax yourself. Yes. Okay. Anybody else? Do you think that people in traffic, for instance, who get out of their car and hit somebody's car or punch somebody, do you think they wanted to do that or they just couldn't stop themselves? Marcela.
I think that they don't want to do it. It's only the stress or the frustration that they have in their own self. For example, I I have a neighbor and he goes from the house every day at 3 a.m. He comes at 6 a.m. Then I think that he sleep and then he leave at 1 a.m. 1 p.m. sorry. Then he comes to the house at 4, and then again he leave at 9 and he come at 12. So he every day is out of their house, and I think that frustrates him, and that's why maybe he connect in that way.
Okay. But what about, so we've said that probably sometimes the weather affects us, right? What about lack of sleep? If you don't sleep, would that affect you and make you frustrated easier? Yeah? So a lot of times when we see these angry people in traffic, maybe all they need is a good nap. And because they're not, because how many of you have observed little babies? When babies are like really crying and the mother says, oh, it needs to sleep, and they put the baby to sleep and everything goes away. Do you think that happens to adults too? Or to teenagers? You don't think it happens to teenagers? Like when you don't sleep enough? Yes, it does. I think it happens to most, maybe not everybody, but if you don't get enough sleep, you are going to get frustrated easier. What is something else that affects? So we talked about the weather. If it's too hot, it could help. It could just make you more frustrated. If you don't get enough sleep, what else do you think could affect you? What about food? Is there some type of food? 2 questions with food. When you're hungry, is it easier for you to get frustrated? Yes? So also a lot of people out there getting angry and frustrated are just probably hungry and need to sleep. Yes, Christian?
Teacher, also, I want to say that the people, the adults, when they are going to a bar and they go outside, they are drunk because they drink a lot of beer, and that's easier to frustrate themselves because they are drunk, obviously. And that I think that that's also what happens.
Yeah, that's probably true. When people are drunk, it's easier for them to become frustrated. Are there other types of foods that can also affect your mood? Like make you frustrated? Like if you eat a lot of, I don't know, spicy food, do you think it would make you be frustrated quicker? No? Diego says no. What about you, Tomas? Do you think that spicy food makes you more frustrated?
No, because you're focused on trying to stop the spicy thing on your mouth.
Okay. So spicy food wouldn't affect your mood. What about if you're very hungry and the food is very hot and you can't, it's burning your mouth? Would that frustrate you? Danielle says no. Some of you say yes. Why do you say no, Danielle?
Because I don't get frustrated just eating like a soup or something like that.
Even if it's burning your tongue?
No.
Oh, wow. I get really frustrated when the food is too hot. I hate hot food that's burning my tongue. Okay, so what other things can get you frustrated? What about problems in your relationships? Like relationship with mom or your friends. Do you think if you're having a problem with a friend, that would make you more frustrated in other parts of your life? Some of you say no. So you think your relationships don't affect your level of frustration? Okay. What about money? If you're having money problems, do you think that would make you more frustrated? So most of you are saying yes. Who wants to give me more? Tell me more. Yes, Marcela.
When this pandemic started and I saw that I can have what I want, and I was like, I want that book. And my mom said yes, and she gave me that book. And then I saw that I can't have the book. It frustrated me a lot because I was like, I can have whatever I want, and now I can't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who else? Who else believes that the amount of money that you have or that you don't have can frustrate you? Hello? Can you get frustrated over money, lack of money? Okay, so you've observed your parents and you've observed other adults. Have you seen adults getting frustrated because there's no money? Or have you seen adults getting frustrated because they have too much money? Like, oh, there's so much money, I don't know what to do with all this money. Have you ever seen that? No. What about when there is not enough money? Have you heard those conversations from adults? Yes. Why does that frustrate adults? Not having enough money. Why does that frustrate them? Why? You're not an adult yet, but one of these days you're going to be. Why would you get frustrated if you don't have enough money? Who wants to answer that? Let's see. Yes, Audrey, go ahead.
The job.
The job. What about the job, Audrey? Yeah, the job can be frustrating, but we're talking about when you don't have enough money. What have you heard from adults on the street, in movies? When you don't have enough money, why does that frustrate them? Yes, Alondra.
I think that it's because they can't pay for the electricity, for water, house, and other things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's very frustrating. Yes, Aldrich.
The food.
Food. They can't pay for food. Aldrich, give me full sentences. You're just telling me one word. Give me a whole phrase, a whole sentence. Okay, yeah. So as adults, that is very frustrating. And also, a lot of adults have jobs that they hate. So if you hate your job, would that frustrate you? I think it would. I would. Like if I had a job that was like, let's see, what would I hate? Like in a bank, I really, really don't like that. I think if it's not what I want, I would be very frustrated. And you know, kids, that's one of the reasons why it's so important for you to, when it's time for you to go to the university, it's so important for you to study what you want, not what your parents or your grandparents or your neighbor wants. Because there are so many people who go to the university and spend 4 or 5 years studying something that they actually hate. And then they go and they work and they hate their jobs. Doesn't make sense to live like that. You're supposed to enjoy life. So it's very important. I once read something that said that about 85% of adults hate their jobs. 85%. That's too much. That's why when you go to the store, you go to the clinic, the doctors, the nurses, these people are just so mean. They're not nice. It's because they hate their jobs, okay? So that's very important because your job can be frustrating. How many hours does a regular adult spend on a job? How many hours does a person work, more or less?
8 hours.
8 hours.
About 8 or 9 hours. Some people spend 12. Imagine spending 8 hours of your life doing something you hate. Those of you who hate school, imagine you had school from pre-kinder all the way to 12th grade, and then you go to university and you keep studying something you hate. So you hated school, you hate university, and then you get a job and you hate the job 8 hours a day. What kind of life is that? Okay, so it's very, very important to make sure that even if they tell you, eso no da plata, doesn't matter. Study something that you like, because frustration is horrible. And when you mix frustration with stress, it's like a war. Frustration is already horrible, and then to add stress to it just makes it like a lot worse. Okay? Okay, so let's talk about the things you can do to calm yourself down. You already gave me some ideas. I'm gonna give you one that's really good. Listen carefully. So when you feel like you're getting frustrated because you just feel this thing coming up, like a monster coming up, one thing that you can do is that you take a deep breath and you hold it and you count to 5. So you hold your breath and then you let it out. And then a few minutes later, you do it again. And you count to 5. It helps you to calm down, and it takes your mind off the thing that frustrates you. And it helps you before you go and you kick your cat or slap your little brother or, puncture somebody's tires. That's one thing you can do. So I think 2 of you mentioned taking breaths, breathing. That's extremely, extremely good. So when you feel yourself getting frustrated, just do it, count to 5, and then let it out. That's one thing. A second thing that you can do that somebody mentioned is go for a walk. Yes, that works. Go for a walk. Even if you can't go out on the street, go into your backyard and walk around. Or, walk around your room. It helps a lot. If you want to exercise, like if you want to go out there and jog or go on your bike, that also helps. And a third thing that you can do is to talk to somebody. To talk to somebody. Think about somebody who always listens to you, somebody who never judges you, and talk to that person and tell them why you're frustrated. So now to finish off our class, each one of you, you're going to tell me which of these 3 pieces of advice, the breath, walking, or talking to somebody, you are going to use next time you become frustrated. For instance, Daniel says that one thing that frustrates him is math, when he doesn't understand the operation. And I think everybody at some point goes through that. I was a math teacher one time, 1 year. I was a math teacher for 7th grade students many years ago in Colón. I think it was my first year, so that's like 30 years ago in Colón. And I understand how frustrating math can be. So which of these 3 pieces of advice that I gave you do you think would work for you? Because everybody's different, okay? What would work for you? I'm going to ask each one of you on my screen. So let's start with you, Nicole Liu. Which of these
Taking a breath.
Taking a breath works for Nicole. What about you, Alondra?
Me too, I take a break or break.
Taking a break, yes. Daniela?
I don't know. I don't do anything.
Yeah, but of the 3 that I mentioned, which one do you think would work for you? Taking a breath, holding it for 5 seconds, letting it out, going for a walk to clear your mind, or talking to somebody who does not judge you? Which of the 3 you think would work in your case?
Talking to somebody.
Yeah. Isabella?
Talk to someone that don't judge me.
Yeah. And and it's very important to find somebody that doesn't judge you, because if you're going to go talk to somebody who's going to be like, ay, pero you don't want that. You don't need that in your life. Nobody needs that. Okay, Christian, which one works for you?
I think go for a walk. It's more relaxing.
Sean?
And in some cases, eating.
Again with the eating, Christian, again. Okay. Sean Foster, what would work for you?
Talk to somebody.
Good. Marcela?
Take a break.
Tomas?
Breathe.
Yes. Emily?
Talk to somebody.
Audrey?
Take a break.
Yep. Daniel?
Talk to somebody.
Denise?
Go for a walk.
Diego Lopez?
Go for a walk.
Casey?
Talk to somebody.
Luis? I didn't hear you, Luis.
Talk somebody.
Okay. Now notice that a lot of you chose to talk to somebody. Now, this has to do more with your personality, okay? The type of person that you are. That's why I ask you what would work for you, because one thing that works for one person doesn't work for everybody else. And that's also another important thing you need to realize, boys and girls, kids. We have to stop trying to be like everybody else or to do the things like everybody else, because everybody is different and everybody's going to react to life differently. So the things that frustrate one person does nothing for another one. For instance, if I could tell you the most boring thing about me, I hate ice cream. Most people like ice cream. Yeah, I know. I hate ice cream. I'm different, and that's okay. And each one of you has something that makes you different. So you should never think that the solution to the problem has to be exactly like everybody else, okay? Now that we're talking about hating ice cream, I want you to think about the most boring thing about yourself, the most boring thing that nobody cares about yourself. And I want you to share that with me. I already shared mine. The most boring thing about me is that I hate ice cream. When I was a little girl, I used to love ice cream, I think. I don't like it anymore. I just think it's ridiculous. Okay, so each one of you, you're gonna tell me, and we're gonna close with this. What is the most boring thing about you? Nicole.
I can't think of anything.
You can't think of anything boring about yourself? Alondra.
No, I cannot thinking about boring.
What's wrong with you? Okay, so boring stuff. You don't like mayonnaise, or you don't really like rice. Boring stuff is like you don't like to wear socks. Those are boring things. Tell me the boring things about you.
I don't like it to sing. I don't like it.
You don't like to sing?
No.
Okay.
I don't like
it. Okay, see, those are boring things. Daniela, what's the most boring thing about you?
I don't like dolls. I never liked it.
Dolls?
Dolls.
Muñecas.
I like it.
Okay, wow, that's interestingly boring. Isabella, what's the most boring thing about you?
I actually don't know, teacher.
Do you sleep with a stuffed toy on your bed?
Actually, yes.
That's very boring. Christian, tell me the most boring thing about yourself.
Well, I don't like not knowing how to talk with people. It's difficult to me to talk with people sometimes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sean, boring thing about yourself. You told me a very boring thing. You say you don't like to read. That's really boring.
Yeah, I think that is that because.
Okay. Marcela, tell me one boring thing about you.
Maybe that I don't like the color pink.
Oh, yeah. Tomas?
I like writing.
Okay. Emily?
I don't like vegetables.
I didn't hear you. You don't like what?
Vegetables.
Oh, you don't like vegetables. Audrey?
I don't like the dress.
You don't like dresses. Daniel?
I don't like the fish and everything that goes out from the sea. I don't like.
You don't like seafood. What? Denise?
I don't like a lot of food.
You don't like a lot of food. You're persnickety. Diego?
I don't like cake.
Oh yeah, I know a lot of people who don't like cake. What's wrong with y'all? Luis Harris.
When I don't talk to anybody.
Okay, I'm happy you're talking to me, Casey.
I don't like reggaeton.
Good. Okay, people. Nicole, did you come up with something very boring about yourself? No? Okay. Do you have any questions about your assignments, which I think the deadline was yesterday? Some of you didn't make the deadline. Any questions? Ask me one thing. One question. One question? No questions? Okay, people. See you next. Oh, one thing. People, module 5 for spelling is kind of hard. It's already on YouTube. Go practice if you have the time, okay? It's kind of hard. Okay, bye-bye. See you next time.
Teacher.
Yes, yes.
I upload spelling in the platform.
Okay, good for you. Bye.
Bye, teacher. God bless you.
Amen.